Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV and DiscoveringBands.com. If everyone watches, share this video on my channel and help support the awesome bands I feature. And today I'm here with Third Realm. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for having me finally. We've been trying to do this for years, I think. So
it's great to have you. Dark Forest 2024, amazing event. And you want to start off and give us a little backstory and history about Third Realm?
Yeah. I've been creating music for probably way before 1998 or so. And the first official release was around 2005, but it's always been something that I just experimented with solo, and then when I started to do live shows, I would have people collaborate with me, mainly just for the live performances. But so yeah, a little bit of starting point was maybe around, I always say like around 2000 when it got serious. So.
Now, I hear a lot of influences from here, Blue Tangle, Marilyn Manson, bands like that. You want to tell us a little more info about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was having a conversation with people about that because, you know, I think some people kind of put blinders on, you know, for genres and for bands, and they kind of have a, I don't know how to explain it, but there's a cliche kind of rebellion against mainstream bands, I guess you can say. Like it's kind of like, oh, if you say like Nine Inch Nails, you're not underground, and it's just, I don't do that. Like I don't stick to one genre in my own music, and I don't do that for bands I listen to. So you were correct with those bands you listed were actually influences of mine, and still are. Yeah. So
I want to comment. Your vocals are very diverse. You got some songs that are clean, harsh. Tell us, is that hard to do? Learning the different vocal styles?
It's over time. It took some time to experiment with it, and you know, I never took like vocal lessons or anything like that. But I think doing live shows, you kind of test what sounds good. If it's awkward, you're like, okay, I'm never doing that again. But I think the main thing was I never wanted to be too cliche with like the effects or use the same effects over and over again. So I wanted to explore trying to sing a little bit, and you know, not sticking to just like the same distortion effect, and nothing, you know, nothing against people that do that, but for me, I always wanted to expand vocally. So,
and then adding the female vocals in adds a whole nother level to it.
I've had female artists like featured on songs, and then obviously live it's added that extra layer, and it takes off the pressure in a way, because it's like I have a lot of layers in my recording. So like when I have like Heather, for example, from Cian Ball, but it kind of just, it sounds a little bit more like the recording as opposed to just doing it myself. So
have you ever thought about having her do some of the recordings?
After this festival, I honestly have been thinking about that, and people were coming up to us and saying like, oh, you know, she's adding this like extra layer that is really interesting, and some, I really am kind of thinking of adding members and her specifically, so yeah.
Because it's interesting, like songs like Castaway, you hear it on CD and you hear it live, and it's different. A lot of times people want to hear the live version, but changing it up, it actually sounds amazing the way you do it. Would you even consider re-recording that for a studio version?
There's a possibility. Yeah, it could be like almost like a specialty EP that's you know, all remixes or remakes. Usually when I make a song, it's kind of like one and done kind of thing. But I would be more interested in writing new stuff with her, or anybody, you know, if I collaborate with people.
Awesome show tonight. Do you have any more shows for 2024 planned?
The last one, or the only confirmed one so far, I think it's unconfirmed, so I can't say too much. But there's apparently a Goth Fest in North Carolina in October, so I don't think it's completely verified, so I don't want to be like, oh, it's definitely going to be on this date or whatever, but as of now, that's the only one that I'm working on so far.
And tell us about your latest album.
Latest album was returned to Distortion Productions. Jim, based in Pittsburgh, from Red Locust, and he actually played the pre-party yesterday at QXT. Really amazing guy. Going back with him and kind of helped me feel back in touch with the scene, or the scene, the community, however you want to phrase it. And yeah, it was just like I felt like I was just being more myself on this one, and it helped. And being back with Distortion, it helped me regain that confidence, I guess you could say. Where before I was kind of just like going all over the place and kind of didn't really know where I was, if there was an aim. And now there is.
It goes into some of the themes. Like a lot of your songs are very deep.
Some of them can be. A lot of them are can be very personal, and emotional. And I think that's, some people take it as a bad thing, I guess. Like a lot of reviewers will say, like, oh well, this album sounds like two different bands, or I wish he would be more cohesive with his sound, and it's like, well, if you listen to all my albums from day one, it never was cohesive, and I don't try to be. And I think you should be allowed to create whatever you want, and it doesn't have to check off the boxes and be the same song over and over again. So,
Yeah, I've been listening to you for a long time now, and as a fan myself, that's what I like is each album song, it's a little different, like you said. It's a variety. It's not all the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's, just, I don't exactly set out to do it on purpose. It's just like it's more of an effort to try to make it the same, and then once I realize that it's an effort, it feels fake, so I try to just make songs that are like, if it doesn't sound like the same artist, but if I like how it sounds, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna try to say, like, oh well, we have to make it sound more industrial or something. It's just not what I do. So.
And for the fans at Third Realm, I know you play one-off shows a lot. Do you think you'll do a tour?
Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's definitely in the works, especially being back with Distortion. A lot of the bands that are signed to that label do a lot of tours, and I would love to join that. We'd probably start with like an East Coast tour, and so I definitely would be interested in that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Now, if people want to look you up on social media, find your music, how do they do that?
I'm pretty much everywhere. So if you search Third Realm, you probably will find me. Yeah, it's everywhere. Instagram, and my link tree's on there. So
all over the social media.
Yeah. I've actually been that way for when I first started music. There were sites like Zbox, MP3.com. This is going back to like 1998. So I think that was the groundwork that I did before doing live shows. It was a lot of social media before social media got that way. MySpace, and which was honestly a really helpful tool for musicians. And now it's a little tricky, especially starting off new. It's really tough, But yeah, long story short, I'm everywhere.
And where might you want to see Third Realm in 5 years from now?
I would say just continuing on the evolution of always trying to improve and trying to be honest with what I'm creating, and never let compliments go to your head, kind of thing, and always like see the flaws in your, it's never going to be perfect, and in that way it gives you that passion to keep going and saying like, well, I can improve in this area, I can improve in my live shows and the recordings. There's so much to like, reflect on and improve on. So I would say just moving up in terms of feeling content with what I'm doing.
Basically, the more you do, the more you improve. You see your flaws, you move up, and it's just continuing from there. And well, it was great having you, talking with you, and we finally got to do this interview, and everybody look them up.